Okay, pal, we're doing it. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll have to excuse my voice because all the hugs I gave out on the weekend, somebody passed on AIDS to me. I'm dying.
I think it's like role reversal for us because I think my voice was trash last pod.
Yeah. Or I don't know, maybe I got the remnants of whatever you were packing. I mean, something has hit a few of us in the family here. And yeah, we're all piled up.
I feel like a lot of people were sick.
Yeah. Well, and now, just for the record, it's not as if I haven't been pushing the limits of everything health wise for about 30 plus days, too. Right. So, yeah, I was asking for it a little as well.
Yeah, you're highly susceptible. I say you got it in Vegas.
Yeah, that could be, surrounded by all them haywire folks. Something's got me. And I kind of knew it was going to happen at some point because, like, late nights, early mornings, lack of sleep, shitty food, you're really asking for it.
Yeah, it's true. Well, guess what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, so they say. So at least you can say that you won't catch this same cold ever again.
Yeah. No, I subscribe to that side of the immune system as well, right?
Like, just let me catch all the colds while I'm young, so that way when I'm older, I'm bulletproof.
Yeah, right? And well, the other nice part about getting something around this time of year is you should be good going into the summer. But more to your point, like that was how I was brought up. Like we were the family that, oh, so and so's got chicken pox. Send your kid over. You know what I mean? Like go get it and build up the immunity, and you should be good going forward.
Yeah. Well, man, I gotta say, and I think Tom said he was getting over a head cold and somebody else at the Airbnb. And like even me personally, like it's still lingering. I'm still waking up in the morning trying to clear a frog out of my throat, which is annoying as hell. So it's who knows
Yeah.
what's out there and what strand of shit and whatever else, but definitely a little bit more than the old colds I was used to. But like I said, if I'm building the immunity against it, so be it.
Yeah. I think, yeah, strains are getting beefed up. Like the viruses are doing push-ups for sure. But I don't know. I mean, because how often, say 10 plus years ago, right? You get a little like runny nose or whatever. You just muscle through, really. And pre-COVID, not to go too far down that road, but pre-COVID, like you'd show up with your eyes hanging out of your head to work, right? Like
Well,
I
yeah,
can
you wanted to
remember.
save sick days to be a personal day. You know what I mean? If you're gonna feel shitty, why do you want to be stuck at home? Like, you want to be
Yeah,
stuck at home when you feel good.
totally. That and you didn't want to be a puss, right? Like
Yeah.
you didn't want to be the guy that had a runny nose and didn't show up to work. Nowadays, right? You get a hangnail and like you can get any time off, but this is all post COVID too. But anyway, yeah, buddy, we got something. I started feeling it a bit yesterday as we were signing off from the Airbnb, and it got worse throughout the day. And today's been a little rough. Probably got more sleep last night than I've had in a lot of days, which was kind of nice. Not to rub it in. We'll get into your story in a minute. But actually, dude, you know what? Before we get too far into this, I think both of us should probably take a minute or two and just like give a massive, massive thank you to not only the P.I.T.S crew, but like everybody that came out to see us. Like, what an unreal group of people. Some were like back to backers, right? I had a few people I yacked it up with that were there last year, but man, it's there's really something to be said about that, right? Like we kind of do our own thing throughout the year and put out the videos, and everybody gets to see our face, right? And then whether they comment or they whatever, right, write you an email, and then when you get to see them in person, like it's a wicked, wicked opportunity to put faces to names and stuff. Now, it does take a lot out of you, right? And I know you and I have had many beers over that, right? Like you just at the end of a day like that, man, you're just shattered, which For those of you that aren't in the Five-0 Asylum, I got a feeling there's gonna be a picture surface of me real soon here. Tom sent me he texted me the picture today that Lewis took.
Oh, dude, it's up. The
Oh,
20
it's up
bucks on you?
already.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, he actually, like, not that I need anything like this, right? Because, well, you know how we all operate, right? I mean, nobody takes themselves too seriously, and you can never really offend me with any type of deal like that. But he did text me. He goes, "Dude, you know I got to do something with this photo, right?" I'm like, I knew this was coming. Like 150% knew it was coming. So, okay, it's already up then. So when you guys hear this, if you're not already a member of the Five-0 Asylum, ask to be one, and you can see a picture of me post day one, absolutely throttled.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's always a great time to catch up with those that you've caught up with before or that you haven't met and hear some of the stories. Me and Lewis were actually chatting about an individual that came up, and he was fortunate enough to have, I think it was a GT back in high school or right at the end of high school, something like that. And he had sold the car to buy the engagement ring to his wife. Common story, right?
Yeah,
And he actually tracked the car. The car, he bought it back, I think he said last year, and something like it only had 12,000 more miles on it. It wasn't like it wasn't a basket case. It was just sort of like this thing came back full circle, and right, his wife was there standing next to him. So just like super cool stories to hear and share with people.
yeah,
And of course, he's had watched, I think, both of our channels and whatnot. And I know you were busy chatting with people, and there was a lot of people coming over to me that were like, expressing and saying how excited they were for your move and your travels and all that stuff. And right, a lot different than your 6,000 mile round trip that you had to make. Well, technically, it was you were so close to the show in your adventures coming down. It's almost like you did the same thing again. You just didn't have to drive this far home this time.
yeah, yeah, it's true. I know I walked into the convention center as they were because I think that was first award that they gave out was the furthest driven.
Yep.
And like the kids were after me because I was walking with them and they're like, "Dad, it's totally us." I'm like, "No, no, no. Like we won that last year fair and square, right? Like we literally drove to the show and then drove home." But actually I think Mark Savoy, I hope I'm saying that right, with his wagon. I think they won because they drove it from Arizona.
Yeah, I think he did because there was actually two awards, and I didn't actually catch the first one. So I think it was like furthest, whether you drove to attend like trail, like not driving the car. And a guy piped up from Texas at like, I want to say like 1,100 miles or something, like each way. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, shit, I don't even know the mileage count. I'm like, that's got to be around what, and literally like within 50 miles. I think I was 1,050.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, that's whatever. You know what I mean? To me, the important one is if you, like in your case, like something
Yeah.
completely outrageous, or like, yeah, you're actually, physically driving the car. So, yeah, no, that wagon was cool. Is that the one that's, oh shit,
It
something like Burgundy Jeremy or whatever,
no
Dirty Linda's twin, or is this a different one?
it's kind of a like a Ford Tempo blue, if you know the
Oh,
blue I'm
okay.
talking, kind of Pepto-Bismol blue.
Yep.
Um, I I could have this wrong now. Dang it. This is one of those moments that a lot of people talk to us about over the weekend where, they're beating the steering wheel. It might be coyote swapped. I should
Ah,
confirm that maybe. I could pull that up real quick. Um, yeah, which they drove her, right?
nice.
The whole way. So, yeah, that's impressive. You know what I mean? Trailering's one thing, and that takes a lot out of a guy. But when you drive the rig that you're going to show, like now we're talking, you know? Yeah, there was well, and to your point, dude, like I kind of hate the whole like, oh, my address is 2 miles further than that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, no, no, like who packed a cooler of food a tidy tank of fuel. You know what I mean? Like who properly did this? We're not talking,
Yeah.
half mile shit here. Yeah, it was a okay, Mark. Oh, wait a minute. He's got a picture of a coupe here.
Uh-oh. Now you completely messed it up.
Yeah. Um, oh shit. Okay, folks, may have to do an edit here. Well, by edit, I mean we won't do anything, but I could have this screwed up. Dang it. I seen the post last night too. Um, one the
It's all
furthest.
right, man. You're not feeling well and thinking straight. We'll let it slide.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, but anyway, lots of cool awards were given. And yeah, I mean, we can get into it too, buddy, because I know you had like a little bit of a moment there towards the end, right? Where you're kind of like, God damn it. Like, what are we really doing? Putting ourselves through all this, right? But I think people kind of enjoy hearing the inner workings of that thought process.
Oh no, for sure. I kind of stand by my statement. We can get into that, I guess, a little further in or whenever we want to kick that off. Um, Me and Lewis were talking a little bit about it earlier today, actually. And but yeah, no, absolutely right. Like the people make it. Like, and at the end of the day, we're putting ourselves out there. And I think my favorite moment is when actually a fellow Canadian came up to me and explained how he had, ridiculous number of Foxbodies, I think in like the late 2000s, and including a Dutch car. And, here he is with his 9-year-old son who asked me if he can interview me for his YouTube channel. And
Oh
I'm,
yeah, you were telling me
yeah,
about this. This is pretty
yeah.
sweet.
So, man, and I knew I wasn't going to remember the name. So I said to him, I said, listen, man, send me an email through my website and please share with me, your son's YouTube channel so that I can communicate it. I haven't received the email yet, but when I do, I'll share it. I know that there was an announcement on the PA talking about him because he had just reached his 100 sub count, I think the night before or something like that. And it was, so cool to see someone so young and passionate about the cars. And he had good questions. Um, so that was a really cool one for sure. Then, of course, I had two, a current customer and one that's going to be sending me his car here in probably about a month's time, come up to me and, right, to meet these people face to face that you're literally working on their cars, but you've never met them.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. It's like, yeah, not only are you trusting me with your car, but you're sending me money. Um, so it's always an interesting interaction to have with people, and super neat because then you sort of get an idea of the person and like their personality and stuff. And because like through email or even through phone, things can be, I don't know, like you kind of have this predetermined vision of what that person is like. But like
Mhm.
honestly, 9 times out of 10, when you see that person in person, you're sort of like, whoa, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's funny how the mind can take some of those things, qualities, and paint this picture. And then you're like, oh shit, this is what the reality is. So, a pretty important thing, like when we think about it, right? Because we're always complaining about online communication, what AI is doing, and all this stuff. Like it's really painting false pictures of people, versus that good old face to face interaction stuff. Like there's no recreating that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. We're I guess we're maybe a little bit more than on the edge of old school, right? I'd say like anybody that was born through the 70s and 80s, like some argue that we're into that. I mean, actually, I think technically we are sort of into that. Some of us anyway, into that millennial kind of age grouping, even though we don't subscribe to any of that bullshit. But um yeah, like just the old school way of shaking hands and seeing each other. And there's a few people I had conversations with where I was kind of metaphorically comparing our upbringings where, you know, it wasn't like you picked the phone up to find out where everybody was. You just went around the neighborhood on your pedal bike and found out where all the bikes were parked in the front lawn, and that's where you went, right?
Well, you know what? The proof was, this was after the show. We're packed up, trailers behind the trucks, and we go to this brewery and we're waiting in this ridiculous line to get some beers. And amazingly enough, we ended up with these Homer Simpson mugs.
The
Like
Duff
these
beer.
steins were fucking massive and just absolutely wonderful. Like just when the bartender handed these over, I couldn't have been happier at this point. And there's this older gentleman, 78 years old, named Jack, that we struck up a conversation with. And to the point, I'm not 100% sure where the conversation started, but this was a successfully retired man that was explaining how everyone had their technology and their emails. Oh, that's what it was. He was talking about a laptop, and he was sort of like, I'll show you my fucking laptop. Look inside my truck here. And I forget what he called the clipboard.
Oh, right.
It was like
Shit.
it must be some southern way of calling some built something board
Yeah.
and whatever. But like we knew what he was talking about. Like it was an old clipboard, and he'd say, I'd write out the invoice, they'd hand me a check.
Yep.
And it was like none of this fucking email, no Square tap to pay, no Cash App, Zelle, whatever it might be. It was just, I wrote out something on a piece of paper. I got handed a piece of paper, and everybody was all right, you know?
Uh,
And
100%.
yeah, and it was our ability, I think, to what's the word? Not empathize, but like, I mean,
Appreciate.
just appreciate and associate how that interaction works. Whereas if you ask somebody, I probably, and I think that's the weird thing about that, you know, this whole millennial generation, like I think, I think millennials are almost okay. It's the Gen Zs or whatever. I guess it'd be 90, or I don't even know how long
Yeah.
um, those
Gens
generations
go.
go. But like anybody born in 90 and past isn't going to know what a fucking clipboard is, and isn't going to know what a rotary phone is, or what a phone book is, or what, you know what I mean? Any of that stuff. So that whole appreciation and good old way of doing things. And I think that that's where there's a lot of, yeah, like appreciation, how we all kind of get along in this game.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, dude, just to like do our edit. It was Mark. Mark, I had it right. God damn it. I second guess myself a lot on this podcast in case anyone hadn't noticed yet. But yeah, there's his unit right there.
All right.
Yeah.
She's tinted.
Oh yeah, murdered. Like, yeah, ain't nobody seeing what's going on when the wagon's rocking, if you know what I mean.
Speaking of murdered, dude, on my trip back yesterday, and I think, I don't know if we were still in Tennessee or if we were in Arkansas at this point, but like rolling down and doing a good clip, and then I can see like this really nice black, you know, pull behind trailer, and I could tell there was this white truck pulling it. So it was sort of like flashback of, you know, it was almost could be you, but it wasn't because it had different tail lights on it. So as we get closer to this rig, I see these black, like a black license plate that says Mexico, and it says crashed on
Oh,
the tag. And then it's like this massive, well, it's sort of like my truck, but like black and white theme. Like, no, so if all my polished shit had been black and his was a 450, and like super, super, like this whole outfit was just spotless. These windows were so fucking dark. Like normally, you know, when you can like look through the side window, then look through the windshield, you can at least see light. There was
yep.
none of that. And then the front tag
Painted.
on this unit was another Mexico plate that said send it. And I'm like, and like both the front and the rear sort of looked like it was a tag on top of a tag. So all I
Right.
could think of was like BJ Adams, like getting the Etsy printed like random number plate shit so that when they do these road trips. So I was sort of like, I wonder what the fuck's going on. And like it just, it was a beautiful sight to see going down the interstate, but I was like, wonder what's in there. Like, I wonder who's driving this truck. It's kind of like suspect.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Murdered out vehicles definitely leave you wondering. I always, especially, like expensive, hotter cars, I'm always like, who's behind the wheel of that? I seen a hot little Porsche the other night on the way home and all murdered out. Plus it was dark. So, tint is even darker in the dark. And it left me wondering, right? Just kind of
Yeah.
leaves you curious. Tint's one of those things, man. I know I've talked about it on here before, like where it was highly, highly illegal in Canada. Um, I am so excited to not have to roll my windows down every time I see a Federale these days. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. No,
Oh, and actually, the kids have been trained now, right? Because we did it so long in Canada. So, like, they're rolling the windows down as soon as they see, just whatever the silhouette of what could be cherries on a Ford Explorer or something. I'm like, guys, we're in freedom land now. You don't got to worry about that anymore.
oh, absolutely, man. And yeah, being more southbound now, you can like. Do you know if you can do tint on your windshield in Tennessee?
You know what? I did look it up because I actually wanted to just kind of like confirm, even though I don't think there'll be any issue. But like Tennessee is a percentage state. Actually, I think most that allow tint are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a percentage. So they're like I think Tennessee is like a 20% state. You know what I mean? So whatever you're rocking naturally in your back windows, you can rock up front, kind of thing, sort of, right? And I think when I was looking that up, I want to say they'll let you do a brow, or no, maybe it was windshield, but it was lighter
Yeah.
than that, 30%, something to that effect.
Yeah, I think want to say it's usually around 30 or so, but like the ceramic is, and you probably remember it on that white lightning that I had for the short amount of time. I didn't go
Yep.
dark by any means, but I went with the ceramic, like windshield and sides. And the nice thing about that, and I was trying to explain this to Lewis, is the ceramic will be darker appearing on the outside, but easier to see through.
Ah,
And it also blocks a lot more shit, and it's just durable. So it's twice the price tag. But like I was really happy with it. Like, of course, in Texas, right, where everything just bakes like no other. And even if you do it clear, it's just worth getting the windshield done. But I know some states it's just like you cannot put, even if it's 100% clear, you're not allowed to put a film on the
yeah.
windshield no matter what. So just kind of
It's
goes depending, but like shit, man, you don't even have a front tag requirement anymore. You can't even like practice what you preach with your plate brackets.
I know, right? Yeah. That's about the only downfall we found to Tennessee. Not that it's a downfall, it's a win. But yeah, from a business perspective, it's not great. Um, yeah, I think the window tint, like, I don't think I know. Like, it's just a survivability thing in the
Yeah.
South. Like you need to like block yourself from the nuclear sun you're about to get torched with. So, but yeah, and I know I've beat the shit out of this before, but window tint is just one of those logical things that in places that don't allow it, and all the stories that I've heard as to why they don't up in Canada, it's just like it's just police state bullshit. Like, just leave people alone, you
Yeah.
know? And none of them could ever give you the same answer twice. It was just, yeah, big fucking racket is all it was. But anyway, as per usual, we're all over the place. But yeah, thanks to everybody for peeling by. There was a lot of really kind comments surrounding the pod. Um, I did hear, which does my heart some good, right? Because sometimes when we're not talking cars too much on pods, I'm always like, holy shit, that was like an hour and a half of like, you know, deep thoughts from Chris and Gary. Like, fuck, who cares about that? But so many people were like, dude, those are the ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, sure, we like the little tech tips and, your thoughts and theories on whatever part and stuff. But yeah, I guess I don't know. We've maybe made enough of an impression on folks that you're willing to take our advice on life too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a good time, man. Um I'm trying to think now, like, some of the high notes from the house that I mean, between Chris and I, we try to like, throw stuff on our Instagram stories, but we kind of know how that goes. Like, there's a kind of an Instagram group, and then there's a Facebook group, and then there's a
Yeah.
YouTube group, and you can never win, with just throwing something in one place. But
Well, I guess we can rewind it back because like we recorded our pod. What did we do? Like Friday night, Saturday night.
yeah,
Yeah, and I was
yeah,
yeah, so that way people had something to listen to during their travels, and I pulled out the next morning, right? So I went and picked up my car from Keith, which was a little bit like, don't get me wrong, the install is beautiful for anybody that's seen it. And if you haven't seen it, I don't even think I've really officially posted anything. I know Keith put a short little snippet up on his social media, but I'll definitely get something up on that. But, the night or 2 nights before, Keith is messaging me. He's like, man, I can't get sound out of your head unit.
oh, right, right,
Right. So he's like, when you come to pick up the car, like try and come a little early so that we can do some troubleshooting. And I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, and for anybody wondering, like the stereo was all wired in this thing, and the amp was just sort of like loosely, like it was wired, but loosely moving around in the back with the two crossovers for the front. And I had like this just a loose temporary JBL box. So Keith finally built the box for the Sony that matches the rest of the stereo. And everything was functioning before it got dropped off. And Keith's just like, I can't get sound out of this. So we're there, and he's showing me how his whole outfit comes apart, which is super cool. I should probably, I don't know. I think I actually have some of this footage. I did really, really good, folks, in terms of getting footage up until the show. And then it just all fell apart.
yeah.
um, so if anybody is interested in Chris's travels and pre-pits preparation, that'll be a great video, but there's not
Yeah,
very much pits in the pits video. So so yeah, we're pulling this thing apart, trying to go through, and funny enough, just running out of time, and then my brain's sort of flashing back to when I first wired this shit up, and um I managed to, once I did get to pits, get an app, and I got the amp working. So I got sound out of this thing, but there's something going on with the head units fighting the amplifier or some bullshit. But um, got the car, went by Omar's, right? Got my spare 26-inch wheel and tire, which I'm pleased to say that I didn't have to change any wheels or tires during all the journey, right? Because
yep.
usually when you're prepared, you don't run into issues. If you're unprepared, you get fucked. Um, so that was all good, and then split up the trip a little bit, which was nice, and everything was kind of smooth sailing. And then we caught up, so I got to see your digs. I didn't get to, or I didn't have to camp out in the shop, which was
Right.
nice, right?
Oh yeah,
And
this could make for some pretty laughable content, actually. And yeah, I mean, whenever it does come out, but like Chris got some content around the shop too. So if anybody's curious, I mean, I'm way behind. I actually, while I was, here's a little backstory for you. Chris and I went before we hit record. I'm going through all these hoops trying to get my identification verified, because the shit I've been up against, ladies and gents, trying to make this transition to the United States has just been wild. But anyway, I'm trying to think where I was even going with that now. Trying to get that done. Oh shit.
well, you're probably yeah, you are sick and not well.
Walked
Um,
around.
well, I showed up. You were trying to. You had no household
Oh,
together. That's probably
okay.
where you were going.
That was it. Yeah. While I was waiting to get my ID verified, I was just starting to edit like the first 3 minutes of our move to Tennessee, which is 30 days ago. So this is how far behind I am. So I guess little whatever attaboy to Chris here. He walked through the shop and is way more caught up than I am. So you guys, if you're curious as to what the shop looks like, Chris will probably have a video out way before I ever do. So yeah, check that out. But where I was going with all that is, yeah, Chris shows up and he didn't have to sleep in the shop. I'm like, dude, we'll just leave your truck and trailer at the shop. I got kind of this big long concrete thing beside the shop, and we'll go to the house. And at the time, it all made sense. However, I should have looked a little further ahead as to where we had to go to set off for P.I.T.S, because as it would turn out, we drove all the way back to the apartment, left Chris's truck and trailer at the shop, and then in order to go to P.I.T.S, we had to come all the way back to get his truck and trailer, but we had to go all the way back by my apartment just to fucking head in the right direction to P.I.T.S.
And you know
Like,
what? And I know I mentioned this. So the funny thing was, we were trying to be super prepared the night before so that it would just sort of be like, okay, yeah, we grab my truck and Gary's just got to hook on his trailer, but we had to load his car into the trailer. So,
right.
all right, he backs up. We put the hitch on and start putting the safety chains and getting this thing like locked up. And then it was sort of like Gary's like, oh no, wait, like we don't want to lock everything up here because we're not going to drag the trailer back home with us. And it was sort of like the universe was telling us something in that moment, like, leave the
Yeah.
fucking truck hooked up, you dumbasses, and take them home because it's going to save you an hour tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. So the shop is like all of a half an hour away from where we're renting this apartment. So yeah, we had to come all the way out here. Well, hook up my truck and trailer, get Chris's out of the way, load a few last minute items, and then shove off. And as we put the Airbnb that we're gonna go to in P.I.T.S in the map, it goes, "You're going right by your apartment on the way out of here." It's like, oh no. So yeah, now this is where the even better stuff comes in. So as we're getting ready to leave the apartment and come over and get Chris's truck and trailer and hook up to my trailer, we're like, "Okay, is there anything we need from the house?" And we're standing there in a like bare bones living room with a television, a coffee table, and 3 lawn chairs. And it's like, oh shit, we got to pack the couch because we need lawn chairs to put in the tent. It fits. So loaded up the air quote couch and threw that in the back of the truck. And I mean, was there anything else we grabbed from the house? Like, we're living lean, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I think I said this on the last pod, but and Chris can attest to this. Like, we're mattresses on the floor, no box springs. The mattress he slept on was my oldest's. We just bought it for her. Like, she was on a blow up mattress the night before. I'm like, I can't put him on a blow up mattress, even though I know he's good for it. But like, yeah, so that thing had one night's worth of use in it, and then you crashed on it.
Oh, yeah. No, it was, man, it was comfortable. And man, the girls had a great time in their room because I'm there like laying down. Obviously, it doesn't take much for me to pass out, but I heard all three of them, doing whatever the hell they were doing in their room, and I'm like,
WWF.
yeah, they're gonna be useless tomorrow for the trip.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we had him on a brand new bed, and yeah, like we are, like I say, we're living lean at the apartment. Which is quite honestly, like it's kind of been a little bit freeing because there's no expectations. Like, we still got bins everywhere, right? Um, hell, I actually like hung up a few more of my clothes today, and when I was done with the bin that the clothes were in, I just put it beside the bed. I'm like, beauty bedside table, perfect height, like whatever.
Well, here to put things into perspective for everyone, if you go, and I think I have some of this footage. So Gary's shop's got like some pre-made shelving down alongside the one wall that these shelves, you would swear Gary's been living there for a couple years, right? So it's got spare Mustang parts, it's got ski fucking equipment and whatever, girls sporting stuff, camping. Like there was like Sorel winter boots and shit, and like garage stuff. And like the rest of the shop, he's got his cabinets, he's got his tools, and right, some of it is new, like stuff that he bought within the US that got shipped directly there, but like his stuff it is there, right? He's got his spare little, screws and nuts and bolts and caps and spray bombs and all this fucking shit that like seems like it's established. And then you go to this apartment and you got Yeah, the 3 lawn chairs, aka sofa, TV that's wall mounted, so it's not even like it's on a hutch or a table or anything.
Yeah.
Um, Gary's, right, like, prize piece coffee table that he brought, and then lots of fresh tulips that,
Yeah.
made things seem homey, but the rest, yeah, was like crates. And I remember Pro right before we're leaving, like, going through this one bin of, like, just random fucking winter stuff because I think we said it was might be cold or something. She's just like, "Where the fuck's that jacket that I need?" Just, like, it was and I've been there, so, like, all you can do is, like, just sort of enjoy that because it is refreshing to, like, set stuff up fresh for the first time again on, like, new stuff and, like, hang stuff in a new place. And it's, you've just kind of got rid of all that old baggage and
Yeah.
nonsense that, and you move the same shit around sometimes, like you're setting it up and you're like, oh man, like there's those scratches, or oh shit, the sofa used to butt up on that wall because we configured it that way and everything was good. Now the side that the fucking cat scratched all those years is now exposed. Like, why
Mhm.
the hell did we bother moving this? I say this from experience.
Yeah.
So, so to just start fresh and have nothing is good sometimes.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know that my wife would 100% agree with me on this, but, like, from a guy's perspective, like, psychologically, it's mentally freeing just to, like, I don't know, sit down in that lawn chair. I mean, I'm not freaking out because the kids are eating on the sofa, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kinda free balling it, and it's great. Now, life does need to, like, go on at some point here, but for the time being, especially with so many things in the air and all this bullshit I've been telling you about that I gotta set up and we're getting screwed over and all this stuff, right? It's like, yeah, like we're not worried about hanging pictures,
Yeah.
like nesting type stuff. We're just there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of nice. I know that'll all wear off shortly. Um, and we'll
Oh,
come back
well,
to
your
yeah,
missus did ask me, she's like, how long does it, did it take you every time that you move to sort of like feel grounded? And I'm like, the old rule of thumb is, you need 90 days to get into a routine. So it's one of those things. It'll just sort of naturally happen. It's, you start going, you learn the places that you go to or the new places that you find. And right, you can stop using the GPS
yep,
and those stupid little things. And but at the same time, it's exciting going through the process. It's like a kid who's like growing up, and it's like, be careful what you wish for, because it's like everything is simple. There's a little bit more time. You get, forgiveness because like you're new, you know what I mean?
yep,
Versus, all right, once you've been there and you know better and all those things, and you can't, have the excuse, like your kids at school aren't going to be able to have the excuse of, actually they're doing all right because they only got a month of school left. So that, like, they're winning for about 6 months.
yeah,
But yeah, you guys will only get about 3. So,
that's
um,
true.
but yeah, no, beautiful area, super neat shop. You got the Quickie Mart right next door to go grab beers.
Oh,
Um,
which is a home run, that one,
I
right?
didn't get to see the brothers in the lawn chairs though.
Oh, right, right. Shit. I did talk a lot about those guys. I don't think they realize how, like, air quote famous they really truly are. Because as everyone at the shows kind of doing the whole like, "Welcome to Tennessee," and, "How do you like it?" And I'm like, "Love the people, love the landscape," there's really nothing that we're finding that we're not loving. And then I'll go on to tell the story about the boys in the lawn chairs, right? And they're like, "Oh, yeah, like, welcome to the South," that's just the way people operate around here. Um, okay, we will pick back up where we left off. Minor pause here, because this is relevant information. Abby and Sadie went to their first day of school today.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. So still waiting on Kaylee's transcripts. She's grade 10, sophomore, whatever, right? So a little more intense to kind of slide her in there. But yeah, so the wife took Sadie and I took Abby. And actually, here's another neat little thing. This is for all the Canadian listeners out there. I I think this is like coast to coast in Canada. It was at least for us out in British Columbia. We had to pay for school bus service. for your kids to ride bus in a country that, you know, everything's free, right?
Right. No, Ontario, we didn't.
Okay. Well, this is maybe just another thing where BC
Depends
was
how much your taxes are, probably.
fuck. They weren't fucking low. I'll tell you that much right now. Yeah, we were paying like $400 a kid to ride the bus
A month or a year?
a year.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it was even a little more than that. But yeah, when you think about it on the year, well, I guess the shock factor for us was just like we're apparently living in kind of a, I know they don't like to refer to it this way, but a socialist country that, you know, all this stuff's taken care of by your tax dollars. Well, I still remember getting that first bus bill because at the time we're new parents, our kids are going to ride the bus, and we didn't know any different. And I'm like, what? You got to
Hmm.
pay for the bus? Like, what about the 58% I paid in income tax? Like, doesn't that cover some of it? Jesus Christ. So anyway, buses are free here, but because day one, you know, we're just like, we don't even know where the damn school is. Like, let's take each one of us respectively take a kid to school. So, Pro did her thing, I did mine, and there was no communication in between until we were done and dropped off. Anyway, both of us, as soon as we get a moment to call each other, right? Like just beaming about the experience. So me and Abby, we kind of fucked up. There's a elementary school right beside her middle school. We peeled in there first, only to realize that was the wrong school. So back to the truck. And at this point, we're getting to the line as to we might be slightly late, which everybody knows us. We're usually pretty good at being late. Anyway, we buzz over to her school, and as we're walking in, and get met with the sheriff, right? Because like having a sheriff outside the school is a thing. And you know, big welcome, right? Shaking our hands and, oh yeah, the Canadian, we heard about you and all this stuff, right? And then as we're walking through the doors, hear the Pledge of Allegiance going over the speaker. I'm like, all right, now we're cooking with gas here, right? Like this is the real deal. Um, into the office, and the principal's waiting for us. Is this Abby? We've been waiting for Abby. I'm like, holy fuck! Like, are you a celebrity around here, kid? Like, just amazing experience, man. And then, yeah, so they, between the principal and like the guidance counselor gal or whatever, they toured her around the school, introduced her to all the teachers and stuff. Um, then the teacher apparently like picked up where they left off. This is Abby. Everybody introduce yourself to Abby. Abby, tell us about yourself. All this stuff. So the kids come home from school going, Dad, I don't even want to come home. Like this was the greatest experience ever. I'm like, what a relief. You know,
Wow.
like from the parent side of things. We're like, fuck, how you just don't know how that's
Yeah.
gonna go. And yeah, total home run.
Awesome. Well, that's
Yeah,
good to hear, man. So
yeah.
when do they get to experience the old school bus?
I'm thinking we'll maybe drop them off tomorrow morning, and then they can school bus at home. We'll maybe, you know what I mean, do like half the trip, just to make sure they're good to go and everything. And then, yeah, throw them on the bus on Wednesday and see how she goes.
So is the school bus like no, like were they expecting them based on their start date and like, oh, why aren't they at their stops or anything like that? Or do they do that? Like
Good
child
question.
inventory?
Yeah, it's a good question because I know the kids back in BC did have like a almost like an ID card.
Right.
Um, that I don't know if they had to scan it or just show it. And then, you know, over the weeks, obviously the bus driver gets to know the kids, but there was an ID thing. And I might have to take a mental note on that and see if we've got something like that here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So great experience, dude. Like just
Well,
unreal.
that's
So
good.
much so that the oldest, right, grade 10, by grade 10, you know, you don't really care about school anymore or want to be there. She's like, I want to go. Like when do I get to go to school? Right? It's like, holy shit. This is awesome.
Oh, oh, that's good to hear, man. The relocation and reassimilation and a whole new group of potential friends or bullies or whatever you want to call it is can be a little frightening. So it's,
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that it's just as welcoming in, I guess, the lower ages than it has been for you guys.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, totally, buddy. Like the whole kind of South idea tracks no matter where you go. It's
Yeah,
just, yeah, I don't know. It's checking a lot of boxes. I'll tell you that much.
good.
Okay. So anyway, we shove off to P.I.T.S, which, other than I think going through, well, you got to experience traveling with women, right? Which that's fun.
It
I gotta
wasn't that
pee.
bad. You know what? I got to say props because we stopped at the rest area. Fair enough. Beautiful rest area. No issues there. Then we stopped at the Beaver,
Yeah.
which everybody wants the Beaver. Like, fuck. If I was traveling with Kevin, I would have had to stop at both Beavers. So
Right.
we only stopped at one. And I remember it was sort of like, okay, everybody's fed, everybody's got to see the Beaver and get the experience. There's no stop until we get to the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And then we hit this Knoxville traffic and find out the Airbnb's like 30 minutes further than where our last Airbnb was. So not only did we get fucked on the front side with leaving our trucks and trailers 30 minutes the wrong way, our Airbnb is 30 minutes on the wrong side of the Sevierville, whatever.
As you're
And
pulling in, yeah, yeah,
we get a fucking time change not in our favor.
yeah, yeah. Lost
So
an hour.
it was a little bit of a cluster of a day in all reality, but you know, I mean, it wasn't horrible, and the women weren't that bad, and it was it could have been a lot worse. It was
Yeah,
beautiful weather, sun was shining. In fact, I think all the weather leading up, the show days were kind of the worst days,
yeah, yeah. True.
unfortunately. But I mean, again, it could have been worse. But we got some rain on Friday, and I don't care who you were, it was fucking cold on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. It
Like
was a
my
little cold.
nose, I was getting like nose freeze. Like I said, a brain freeze. It was happening in my nose. My ears fucking hurt from the wind going in, but whatever.
Yeah,
That's what hoodies are for.
both days were windy too.
Yeah.
Like there was some tents got jacked up.
Yeah.
Um, okay, again, quick little fast forward. We'll pause the current story. So we wanted to hit the Sevierville Bucky's on the way out of town. Big mistake, dude. Oh my god. So uh we come to find out that it is the busiest Bucky's in the lower 48, like by far. Um, just to get in there easily took us half an hour of just stop and go and whatever. So, and then there was, I mean, by the time you get in through all that, like to the best of my knowledge, I couldn't find trailer parking. I mean, maybe there was some somewhere, but you know what I mean? You're so congested in there. You're just like, fuck, I don't even want to do another loop because that'll take an hour, you know? So I ended up kind of jackknifing myself in two regular parking stalls and just said, fuck it, let's go in and get something to eat. Well, anyway, we do all that on our way out. We obviously got to now fight our way out of the damn parking lot. And I'm truck and trailered. So I'm at this four-way and I'm whatever edging my way to the actual stop sign. So I'm the next one to go. But, being someone that thinks of others, I'm like, okay, I don't want to go when there's only just one car length on the other side of this four-way. I got to wait for two and a half, right? Fuck, man. It was just like people going for blood. Every time that happened, somebody from one of the side exits would jump in front of you. And then they're like scrapping in and amongst each other. It got so bad, dude. This forerunner was like trying to almost like flex his way into me, like into my fender. And I'm like, I don't even give a shit if I hit you, dude. So I come out of that stop sign hot, blocked the intersection. So bad on me. But I was so pissed off because 6 people had already done this to me. I rolled my window down and I'm like, I'll pull you out of your fucking car, buddy, if you think you're going in my spot right now. Like, fuck you. Right? It was the wife's like, Garrett, enough, stop. I'm like, no, like, this is not how Tennessee works. or anywhere should work for that matter. Just ignorant, man.
Yeah. Well, I think
Oh,
there's so much out of state happening in that area, right? Because like you got 40 traveling east and west, you got 75 going north and south,
yeah.
and right, you just got every mix match of everything in between. And man, I get it, right? Like you're just when that foreign comes into your domestic, you're just very territorial. Like I have the road coming in sort of like straight into our place, like that's a straight through road. So the only stop is the one on the other side. And I've noticed as of recent, there's more and more people that are blowing that stop sign,
Oh, right.
thinking that there's a stop coming straight on through. And I was cooking down the road and like I'll mess with people now, like intentionally, like you better stop. And dude, I was cooking in the M5 the other day, and this guy stopped and he's watching me, like hauling ass down, and he just decides to pull out. I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. I'm like, so I swerve into his lane where he had to like, and like the brakes on the M5 are phenomenal. So I managed to stop and I literally like right in front. So he can't go, like just block the road. I just roll the window down and it's like it was actually like a Russian dude
Right.
and like pretending like he can't speak English. And it's the same thing. Like you just can't help yourself, like, which isn't good to do, right? Like you don't know who's got a
Yeah.
gun or whatever in reality, but it's like, come on. It's
What are we
like,
doing?
you
Yeah.
see us, like, there's no stop sign here, man. Like, you're at fault. Like, it just makes you want to drive, like, just put a ranch bar on the front of your truck and just say, game on. Right.
Yep.
Like, so I feel
Boom.
bad for like Lewis, right? So he just gets his new truck and he was talking about how he got bullied in his Honda Fit during his commute to work all the time. And he's like,
Right.
now that I'm in the truck, he's like, I don't get bullied on the road.
Yeah. Everybody thinks you got a bigger wiener now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
but you survived.
anyway, yeah, we did. Yeah. Um, but yeah, and then we so going to the new location of the Airbnb, and like Chris said, last year we were we avoided Sevierville coming to the Airbnb because it was just outside of town. This time we were all the way through Sevierville on the other end of town or whatever. So had to fight our way through there. Uh, and I mean, I think that town just naturally, like, I don't know, maybe a Monday, Tuesday is kind of quieter, but naturally that town just is constantly swelling because
Yeah.
there's conventions, there's our show, there's all these things, right? So it's just, I think for the most part, busy all the time. But got through there, and then we hadn't heard anything from the rest of the crew that was staying at the house. So one of us reached out, maybe we did at a or at a rest stop or something, and they're like, "Boys, it's steep coming into this place, right?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I've been on steep driveways or roads or whatever. Like, how bad can it be?" Well, we get there. Oh, well, first we blew the turn, right? And had to shoehorn ourselves around on it. And ladies and gents, if you've never toured around in the back roads of Tennessee, especially out there in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, like the roads are thin. Okay. So if you're rocking down the road, truck and trailer, I mean, you just feel obese, like you're using a lane and a half at all times. So anyway, we whale our way up the road, and then we come up to the Airbnb, and we are at the very tip top of this little mountain that the Airbnb's perched on. And you kind of look at it and you go, holy shit, like I not that I questioned the boys, but I was kind of like, how bad can it be? Well, it was that bad. Like in all honesty. It like so bad that going to fast forward to the end of the show, Chris and I loaded our cars and we still had to spend one night in the Airbnb. I said to him, like, buddy, we unloaded our cars at the top of the driveway or whatever the day that we pulled in, and then we pulled empty trailers out. So, they're riding a little higher on the suspension. Like now we're gonna pull up there loaded and we're coming out loaded too. I'm like, we're going to drag the back corners of our trailers on the transition from driveway to road. Like it's I don't know how to judge percentage grades, but man, I gotta think it's like a 25 or 30% grade, like ignorantly steep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like if your truck was manual and you were like shitty at driving manual, you'd roast your clutch
Yeah.
like trying to even attempt to do this. Like you'd hope what you would want is like the old 7.3 or like the old inline 300.
Yeah.
Like you'd just be crawling, but just bull low and just slow crawl up this thing. And that was the other issue too, is like going up. Um, like we sort of knew the angles that you could take because again, like we were both in dualies and fully pull behind or bumper pull trailers, and you could kind of take stuff wide to go around the corners because not only was it steep, but it was windy.
Yeah.
So, and thankfully, because like when we went up on that, what would have been Saturday night, like everything was packed. Like there was a bus parked off, and the one, like, I don't think we would have been able to go wide in the areas that we needed wide to even make the bends.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. For our last night there. Totally. Yeah, it was
So,
hopping there that last night that we stayed.
yeah. So, yeah. So we ditched them at the trailer parking. And, obviously we're leaving, well, which I'm sure everybody always wonders with all the crap you hear about stuff going missing or trailers getting upgraded from car shows and stuff. But we met the man in charge, and he let us park like right in front of his accommodations there, as he was a 24-hour watchdog, so to speak. And yeah, we made it in and out alive.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. And I don't think, other than, well, we can touch on this in a minute, other than the Celine story, I don't think there was any fishy business that I'm aware of that went on that weekend.
No, I don't think so. I think it
Yeah.
was well, pretty clean.
Yeah. Yeah, so kick the cars out up top, and then we were going to take the trucks or the trailers down because that was the other thing. Pretty much everybody came. I think actually everybody did come truck and trailer. So
Yeah.
between once the cars were out, trucks, trailers, everything, I mean, even though we had a pretty big parking pad, there wasn't a lot of room for parking shit.
No.
So yeah, dump those out, and then well, I guess kind of the gong show began there with Spano's car.
Yeah, well, it was the next day, right? They went, where the hell
For a
did
little
they
rip.
go? Yeah, they went for a little cruise. I forget what we were up to. And I remember they came back, and Dom's like, "Yeah, I can't steer my car very well." And yeah, it was just like stuff was just binding up, and it was a little bit of an ordeal because we thought it was the at first the steering shaft it was an old Flaming River shaft in there with two U joints, and so he pops that out, and all right, we could kind of see where there was a spot legitimately where it would sort of bind. So
Yeah.
there was an issue. But after assuming that that was the only issue, and Mr. BJ Adams, which hats off to him. Guys, I don't know whether you love him or hate him or whatever. This gentleman, 2.5 hours away, literally, we're chatting at 8, 9 o'clock at night. And he's like, "Yeah, no problem. I got the same one on a car. I'll get my kid to pull it off and I'll run it out to you first thing tomorrow morning," which I think he showed up at 7:30 in the morning. And this would have been on the Thursday. And, he goes home and is like, "Yeah, no, I don't know if it was work obligations or whatever it is." And he's like, "I'll be up to the show, tomorrow on Friday." So didn't even get to see the guy. Tom got up early enough to get the steering shaft on him, or in the wee hours of the morning. And I was hoping to see him Friday, and then him and his buddy were bringing, I think it was a Georgia SSP car for the show, and someone pulls out and hits the car. And they end up turning around because, you know, I think they just didn't want to show a fucked up car. Maybe they were a little, you know, disappointed about the whole ordeal. I get it, but you know, I felt really bad. It's like, here's, you know, this amazing member is willing to literally give, you know, shirt off his back, parts off his cars, whatever it is. Like, he asked, did not ask for money, did not ask for anything. 5-hour return trip for this thing, and then next day gets fucking hit. And I don't
Yeah.
even think he made it to the show.
Nope. Yeah. I
So
know.
just you know, it sucks. It really I don't know. It just rubs you the wrong way when shitty stuff happens to decent people, right?
Agreed. Yeah, hats off to BJ. There were another couple of folks that I'm not privy to who they were, whatever. Dom and Tom were dealing with them, but I mean, it was a true testament to like the Foxbody community in so many regards. I mean, because this went into yeah, it was Thursday morning that he dropped that shaft off, got it in, realized that okay, maybe this problem runs a little deeper. That night, a bunch of us missed the 5-0 Asylum cruise because, you know, didn't want to leave Dom behind and stuff. And we were giving him a hand. The guy had been on jack stands for the last 2.5 days, you know, sweating his ass off out in the driveway with, you know, makeshift tools. Nobody shows up with their actual toolbox or, you know, spare parts or anything. So we stayed behind. And anyway, heard through the grapevine, like, you know, John Brooks is down at the cruise and he's got the PA system out. Does anybody got a spare steering shaft? You know, like this is just in so many ways like the definition of the Fox body community, you know, like just
Yeah.
anybody needs anything. It's like, yeah, right now, got you covered, you know?
Yeah. No, it
So, yeah,
was and you know, and poor Dom, right? He's like frustrated, wanting to give up. And
when the guy worked so fucking hard all winter on that car, right? I think he's only, well, maybe like very few times has he had that car out so others could see it, right? It's always kind of just been his long-term baby that you know, he has fun going in straight lines with and whatever else. And so the guy like literally spends the whole winter heavy lifting, and he's a very meticulous, very clean, very detail oriented fella. So even if you think that you're that, like Dom's another level beyond that, guys, you know? Like check out any of his cars if you don't know what I'm talking about. They're literally cleaner than you think, okay? So he pulls the, you know, Spano Customs over the winter, fucking pull the motor just to, you know, wipe the K member down kind of stuff, you know? And then the poor bastard gets tagged with a steering issue. It's like, fuck off. Like, and literally leaves him incapacitated. Like can't even, and him and his wife, they go to great lengths to you know, send their little guy to one of the parents and stuff. Like they're out to enjoy themselves that week. And this shit. Like
yeah. But
what
hey,
a brain fuck.
pulled through and, you know, showed up late on the Friday, but he showed up, and you know what? Hard work paid off. He got himself a jug.
Yeah. Best 87 through 93.
Yeah.
So congrats, Dom, if you're listening, buddy. Yeah, and I think because there was a little bit more to that story, not to like go on and on, ladies and gents, and bore you with all this, but tried an SN95 rack. Anyway, it goes on and on. And he ended up hillbillying this thing together, which, you know, nobody ever likes doing. But I think it just got to that point where it's like, you know what? Piss on it. Like, we're here. We've come all this way. We're going to make this work. And so cobbles this thing together, gets her down to the show. And then, yeah, like Chris said, pulls home the jug.
Yep.
Sweet ending.
Well, hey, you know what? Got to reuse some of the War Admiral flat black barbecue paint, right?
The
That was
alternator
used
paint.
for the alternator paint from last year on the new steering shaft. And I had a good laugh about it. And you know what? It's just, you know, as shitty as the situation is, you know, for Dom, I think for like the rest of us being able to like help lend a hand and help in the situation and problem solve and do all those things. It's just really a testament to the community and the people involved, right?
Oh yeah, 150%, man. It's I don't know, never ceases to amaze me, this group of people, you know. It's a special crew.
Yep.
Um yeah, I think that, I mean, other than the photo that's I have confirmed is going around. It's on the Five-0 Asylum, so sign up if you're not already on one of the group members. You can see me in really rough shape after day one. Um, Man, I like, I don't even think I was a 4-cent nickel that evening. I was like a cent and a half, just fucked. Holy. Running on fumes, like, is really the best way to explain it.
Hey,
Um,
when the body gets, if it needs rest and it finds that moment, and actually I had the moment during the awards. Like I literally just kind of did the old airplane, like fucking head down in the lawn chair. And I remember that there was this lady. She had a super loud, like almost annoying pitch voice. And like I passed out, and then after, I wake up eventually. Laura's like, "How the fuck did you sleep?" Like to that lady, like hooting and hollering or whatever. I'm like, to be honest, she was so annoying. I think she like helped me pass out
yeah.
because I just didn't want to hear it. But no offense if she's listening, just her voice was very loud on the microphone, whoever she was. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think we all just kind of, it's, I know Tom said it. Tom was, all his long, ridiculous hours he's been working through that god awful winter and everything. I know he needed, like we all just needed rest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. By the time you get to those shows, everybody's kinda starting to run on fumes already, and then the show just amplifies it all, right? But,
Yeah.
um, makes for good stories, right? If everything went the way we wanted it to, then, well, hell, what would we be talking about right now, right?
Yeah. Well,
But,
hey, like Saturday night, I know Saturday night going into Sunday, there was no alarms. Like, yeah, we pushed our checkout time. That's for damn sure.
oh, yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, and speaking of awards, so for those of you that have never been to P.I.T.S, um, it is a rather big awards show in that, well, you've probably seen some of the jugs, like one of which War Admiral won. Like there's a top 75.
Yeah.
So 75, car numbers and names need to be called out. So just to give you a sense of like how this all works. And not only that, I mean, that convention center is big. Like
Mm.
that thing's gotta be what, 80,000 square feet? 50 for sure. Like it's
Yeah.
a big ass building. And I think it's safe to say more than a third of it is full of people in lawn chairs or sitting on the ground during that award ceremony. So it's whatever. It's big, it's a lot. It's and they do a good job. Like they really
Yeah.
truly do with what they're working with. And I think most people leave feeling as though, it was worth their time. And the set and setting, we said this all weekend long, right? But set and setting of that show is pretty hard to beat. Um, it's everything about that Sevierville area is, there's something for everybody, you know. We had our kids there. Tom and Aaron had had their gal Sam and then her buddy. I mean, there's go-karts, there's fucking Titanic exhibition, there's Dollywood. Yeah, like it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
That that town's built to keep big groups of people busy. Um, so yeah, it was good. And the S550s, in case anybody was wondering, they were alive and well. A lot of straight pipe S550 action going on in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. A lot of nice ones. I will say that, like, as far as aesthetics are concerned, a lot of people getting quite busy with the S550s. There was, so dude, actually you missed this. So Chris's better half showed up Thursday, late Thursday afternoon, had to run into Knoxville to get her. And that was actually the cruise night. So we missed the cruise helping Dom. And then we got to a point where Dom was waiting on parts to show up the next morning. So we went, you know what? Let's buzz out. We'll get a bite to eat. And that was going to be it. We were going to go home after that. And then as it turned out, there was still a bunch of people that were hanging around where the Five-0 Asylum cruise ended. So there was me, Tom, Dom drove Steve's car. Steve rode with Tom. And then we ended up hooking up with Josh Kennedy. All went for dinner. And then when we got out of dinner, it was kind of a nice evening. We're like, well, shit. You guys want to go see what's going on where the cruise ended up? Yeah, let's go over there. So, and it was kind of almost like a mall parking lot, if you will. I'm sure they wouldn't classify it as a mall, but there's enough stores in that strip to almost look like a mall. So big parking lot. Anyway, we show up there, not sure where the rest of the asylum group is. So we just kind of parked wherever. And as it turned out, this was the like hot little stop sign area to leave. Man, the fucking burnouts that were going on, like proper burnouts. And you know, because you've been like, Sevierville doesn't horse around with the police enforcement. They keep on top of things. And the whole time I was thinking to myself, like, somebody is gonna get in huge shit here. But it seemed like it was just burnout after burnout. Guys leaving hot and roasting the tires, whatever else. So it was actually a pretty neat little show.
Nice.
Yep.
No crowds were injured and any of the
Nope.
craziness.
No crowds were injured. And it was mostly, from what I could tell, like, yeah, newer Mustangs getting after it too. And they're usually the crowd killers, as we know.
Uh,
So yeah, that was kind of neat to see. And I know, buddy, because yeah, for you, we were going to kind of bring this up later, feeling like between all of the hustle and bustle of getting here, well, Britt coming in when she did, Dom's car, like, and not that we're blaming anything on anything here, but it was just the way the weekend unfolded. You kind of drug the old silver girl out a long ways to more or less run her back and forth to the show, right? Other than the day you and Lewis got out and
yeah. Yeah, no, that was and it's not anybody's fault. It's just well, whatever. If anything, it's just sort of I could have made time, could have made different decisions, but it was just sort of like everything happened so fast. Yeah, that was my biggest disappointment was like I didn't get to enjoy my car.
yeah,
Like other than and that was literally that little trip with Lewis 30-40 minutes. Nothing really at all. And I think the biggest thing for me is that the reality is this is the first time that I've actually because I've shipped cars to shows, or I've driven cars to shows. I've never actually gone out of my way to like truck and trailer a car to a show. And the joke was actually because me and Gary are, I think we were like in tow, and I'm on the phone during our road trip trying to kill time as I was a solo driver. So I call Lewis and Laura, and they're talking about all this. There's no room for trailers, and hey, did you get your trailer parking? I'm like, what trailer parking are you talking about? Oh, Aaron sent out a link. And so I message Aaron and like, Aaron, what's this about trailer parking? Oh, yeah, no, I sent that to everybody. I'm like, checking through my SMSs. I'm like, Aaron, you didn't say anything about trailer parking. She's like, oh, well, you know what? I'm just used to you driving all the time. I never thought that you'd actually be towing your car in a trailer. Whatever. Fair enough.
yeah,
So I think it was like, it's, it was a realization to me that, and for whoever's good with this, like good on you, or I don't know what motivates you to do this, but the true trailer queens, that that's all they do. It's like out of their garage, into their trailer, to a show, off the trailer, then back in the trailer. I'm sorry, I can't. My brain isn't wired that way because pretty much what I did, short of driving this little bit and driving to the show way too fucking early in the morning in the cold, like, because I hate that aspect. Full stop. So, in comparison to last year, right? I shipped my car to Charlotte. Brent, was nice enough to take care of it for a few weeks. And his daughter actually made me this nice bracelet that says summer
Oh,
because she calls the yellow Dutch coupe summer because of yellow.
nice.
And drove it from Charlotte to Pitts, and even with the fuel pump fucking up on me and changing the damn thing and the O'Reilly's parking lot and everything, like it made the adventure. And um the whole Airbnb experience and everything, and when we do the Fox blocks and everything, so like all of that is just so good. And it was sort of like, what's the point of having the car here? It is
Yeah.
sort of in my mind. It's like I enjoy everything about what's going on, and it's almost like the car comes last because it's not about the show. It's about the destination. It's about the journey, and everything about the journey was really good, and the experiences and helping Dom and everything. And it was like I dragged this car a long way for I could have done this journey at maybe 14 miles a gallon instead of 8.
Yeah.
So whatever. I know a lot of people enjoyed seeing the car, and I thank you all for, what I mean? Like it's not about that. It's just it's a personal thing to me where it was like, God damn it, I was so busy and caught up in everything else that it's just like the car came last. It really did, and that's a good thing in one respect, but it's also a bad thing in another.
Yeah. Well, couple thoughts on that. Well, one is bringing Dom back into the mix. I said to him, it was just me and him at one point in time, and I said to him, I'm like, "Hey, buddy, I can only imagine how you're feeling right now, right? With what's going on with your car and all the time you put into it, and now you're dealing with this." But I said, like, let's not forget, and I know everybody out there can appreciate this, that probably somewhere around 50 to 50 and a half, maybe even 51% of what we enjoy about these cars is working on them. Now, I know it's maybe a little too soon and the wound's wide open and you don't want to think about that right now, but it's worth considering. Now, the other half of that, which sometimes can also be the 50 and a half, 51% side of it, is we enjoy driving the damn things.
Yeah.
And like you said, when you throw that many miles and money in the tank and everything else to get there and whatever, and you don't feel like you checked much of that box. Because quite honestly, dude, going back to the story I just told about being in that parking lot and the burnouts, had I not done that drive that night, I'd be in the exact same boat as you.
And I think that's sort of like it was just, you know what I mean? Like, again, I know me and Lewis got out, but it was sort of like short lived because we had to get to the airport to go pick up Britt. And it was sort of like, because last year, the Friday night, me and you went on that cruise, right?
Yeah.
We went to Gatlinburg or wherever the hell it was, and went and got some dinner, enjoyed the cars. We couldn't do, like, we got rain the Friday night. And then, you know what I mean? It was just, again, it just kind of came to like a screeching halt so quickly. And it's like, man, there's some really nice roads. Would have been nice to enjoy the roads and take the corners. And like like the coupe with body kit club didn't get to do the coupe with body kit club stuff,
Yep.
So yeah, man, it was a miss. It's like when you forget to take that group photo or
Yeah.
something like that. It's just like, fuck, it's like you forgot the most important thing out of the whole not
Yeah.
most important, but like you missed the
One of.
point of the adventure, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's it, man. So but whatever. Made it there, made it home. Um car showed well.
Yeah.
Wish we could have got out, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, on that note, of, like, I guess, shortcomings to these shows and stuff, one of the things that for not that I've been to a lot of them, to this point in time, but enough of them where, you know, you get so like you're trying to check as many boxes as possible, from visiting to, well, all the stuff. And the thing that typically falls on the short side of the stick for me is I very rarely get to go around and enjoy the cars, right? And that one breaks my heart. And we can talk more on this in a minute, because I mean, well, and we have in the past too, saying like, man, if you could just find a way to turn this into that like one night in, July of 1999 at the 7-Eleven, like that, where it just, everybody had enough time. There was just enough cars there. We all got to see them and appreciate them and shoot the shit. And we all went home feeling satisfied. Well, anyway, this is one of the downfalls of the shows for me, because I'm like, it's overload first and foremost of just high end beautifulness that people have poured their heart and souls into. And yeah, because you're trying to do all these other things, that's typically one of the ones that you fall short with. Well, this year for me, and it's the one and only time I can honestly say this, is I actually got around to enjoy the cars, and it was when we were all worn out on the very last day of the show when the awards were going on. um, I left the wife and kids in with you guys there at the awards ceremony, and grabbed Bill Butler, who had been slaving away in the Ford Performance booth all weekend. And he's like, "Man, I'm trying to drive home tonight, and all I've done is stand. Do you want to go walk around like the show field real quick?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." So, unbeknownst to me, it was almost going to be, well, it ended up being like a private show for me and him when no one was out there.
Yeah.
And you like no crowds, no nothing, right? You're not dodging baby carriages and whatever else. It's just you get to like take a knee, have a look at this, check that out, whatever, all this stuff. And I was like, when we got back from that little 45, maybe an hour long tour, I was like, finally, I checked that box. And I've yet to do that,
Yeah.
sadly. And that's what we're all fucking there for. It's like, you know,
It's
dang.
true. I mean, and I was almost there. And similarly, I think it was Saturday, and I finally escaped to take a piss. And I was walking back, and Lewis just kind of caught me. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, I haven't even, here we are Saturday afternoon. I still haven't even walked around, like even just in the asylum area, let alone
Yeah.
talking like the rest of the show field. So I did grab the GoPro, and we walked around and got to see asylum stuff a little bit on the inside, and like there's people that you want to see. Like I wanted to see Fiddle Fart and talk to him because, he's got a bunch of parts that I'm using on the Cobra. Well, there's lots of parts that I have on my other cars too, but on a couple custom bits. And I wanted to see Adam from Carter's Customs and go see, Bill had some control packs and those export spec H
H
pipes
pipes. Yeah.
that I got off them. So like just trying to coordinate grabbing stuff and seeing people and all this, um, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw it out. I'm gonna forewarn people now in the pod. Like I love going to the shows and I love the journeys and everything else, but I'm definitely, after kind of lessons learned here to come into my own personal realizations, is that I need to be able to drive and enjoy my cars a little bit outside of the show if they're going to be in the show, number one. And number two, um, like as much as it's nice having the booth and everything, I think I'll be a little bit more, I don't know, selective, or maybe just not do booths for a little bit so that way it's like, you know what, catch me walking around or catch me standing next to my car or standing next to someone's car to have a normal casual conversation and just kind of take a little bit of this, added stress or whatever off of it. And, I made the joke to Lewis. I'm like, you know what, man? Like, I might have to drive this fucking Cobra to Foxtoberfest because, like, I'm not going to do the trailer clean stuff. I'm like, I'll put crash wrap on it, or I'll just know I got to spend $1,000 to respray the front end when it's done,
Yeah.
or something. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I know what I need when we do some of these things or whatever. We got it, and we've talked about this, right? Like the non-car show,
Yeah.
for all us guys, just to bullshit and not have to worry or stress out so much.
Yeah. Well, and I know everybody does say that about um car shows, is like, if you've ever experienced one where you don't have a car with you, it's a whole nother animal, because
Yeah.
it's one well, it's one less stress, but it's a huge stress because you're not worried about the weather. You're not worried about cleaning it. You're not worried about this and that and whatever else. You just buzz in and buzz out,
You know
right?
what was great? It was 2 Foxtoberfests ago. Flew in, Gearhead was like, "Man,
Oh
take,
yeah.
fuck,
That
what's the
coupe,
name of that car?" Yeah.
Matt Farah's coupe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
what
a
was
name for
it? Did
that
have a
car.
nickname.
Yeah, it did. And it was just, "Dude, come pick up the car. Take it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck." I'm like, "Awesome." Roll up to brewery night and everyone's expecting, Matt to be in it. And it's like, "What the hell are you doing in there?" And that's why actually I busted Tom's balls, right? Because we knew Dom's car was down. And when I came back from that ride with Lewis, right before we left to go get Britt, I told Tom, like, "Dude, the air settings are set. Take my fucking car. Let Dom drive yours. Like, Dom knows your car just as well, if not better than you do at this point after cleaning up so much stuff." And like, that's one thing. Like, I'm wired weird. Like, I actually like other people driving my shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know what it's just like, you get somebody else's opinion about it, or like they can get excited about it, and it's not me like constantly being critical of my own stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I'm like, man, you should like somebody should have enjoyed it.
Right. Yeah. Sad reality of it,
Well,
hey?
that and I was hoping because I told him, I'm like, "Dude, just take the car home with you." Because
Yeah.
he's like, he thinks I'm joking that I'm not gonna buy this car off him. And I'm like, but take it if you say you're
Yeah.
gonna buy it.
Yeah. Do it. Yeah. These are whatever, not to, I guess, have a huge piece of this pod be on the negative side of things, but these are just some of and they're not negative things necessarily either. It's just, I don't know, weird stuff, I guess, that
Well,
you
you know
kind of
what?
think about.
I'm actually very curious. So for anyone listening, and like I know you can comment on a pod and you can do it if you want. I'm curious to know, for all of you listeners that take your cars to car shows, like what are your like misses or you shoulda, woulda, couldas?
Mhm.
Like, is it part of the travel? You wish you had more time. You wish you know what I mean? I'm curious because like this is just, and again, we're sort of like that whole 80-20 rule. I don't want this 20% of the, shoulda, woulda, couldas to overtake the 80% of the awesomeness that everything was. But,
Yeah.
uh, it's just like, what are those learning things of like what you would do differently? Like, is it just you stressed yourself out too much? You wish you had more time to get something done, or you know, I'm curious because like we all go through it. Like
Yep.
that's what happens with the cars is that we're so critical about our own work, and we almost forget, why we're doing it and our love for it, and um, you don't want to let that overtake all the good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you'll have to forgive me if you're listening to this, my friend, but Billy Trammell had a post. I want to say it was someone that may have bunked up in their Airbnb, and I think the guy was from Ontario.
Hmm.
He was in a white hatch, LX hatch, I believe.
I saw that. It
So
was a 4i, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if I'm remembering the post correctly, I think it was him and maybe his mom or something that was with him. And Billy went on, like, kind of gushing over, like, just how much this couple or whatever, son and mom, took everything in, because he's like, you folks up in Canada do it differently, right? Like, these guys didn't even stop for sleep. They were just going everywhere and doing their thing. And now I'm familiar with that, and I know, as are you, like, quite familiar, where it's like we're so far disconnected from a lot of this stuff that, you're trying to cram like 100% of things when you only got like 50% of the time, right? But it sounds like this whatever mom son combo did that. But and I'm sure they'll look back on it as a really good memory, wicked bonding time, mom son deal. But it shouldn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to cram and ram and whatever. But the sad reality is you kind of do.
Yeah, you know what? They're from the Windsor area because I was chatting with them. It was actually there was a good number of people from, well, Ontario specifically, and like I want to say at least four groups of people I ran
Right.
into from Ontario that made that trip down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, like, I mean, mile for mile, like, what are you? Like, you'd be Windsor to, well, Windsor, you're right on the border.
Yeah, so Windsor, I know Windsor to Nashville is a 9-hour haul. I want to say Bill said from there to Detroit was 10 hours for him, like from the show. So obviously you're a little bit more east, but probably more of a straight. Yeah, because we just hop on to 75 and just take 75
Yeah.
straight up to Detroit. So if you were Toronto area, you'd probably add, 3 more hours depending on the way that you would go. So quicker than me.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of wild to think about it that way, but yeah.
Dude, I don't know what it is. It just like you wouldn't think like Texas to Tennessee. Like, mind you, Tennessee is a very wide state.
Yeah.
But it just like knowing what it takes for me to get to Florida or getting even Charlotte. Like I want to
Mhm.
say going to Charlotte is the same amount of time, just the way that you like the roads and mountain range and everything else goes. But yeah, man, it's a haul.
It's a good pull. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I know Bill, well, after the show, he made a beeline for home, uh,
Yep.
made it home at whatever ungodly hour. But, well, a lot of people did. Brother Tom and Dwayne and the Streetcar Shenanigan boys, they peeled out, I think, a little early from the show, but nonetheless, they made a shot for home. I think, though, if I remember right, yeah, because we did go through Chicago on our way home last year, and we were like, we got past Chicago and pulled in for the night. Actually, yeah, I think we made it to Wisconsin or something, but that was a whole nother story because we were trying to get it done in a short period of time. But yeah, those drives beat you up pretty good. I mean,
Oh
you're bouncing around, your mind's going a million miles an hour because you're thinking, is the car still strapped down? Do I got a flat that I'm not seeing? Nobody's waved at me to tell me that I, dropped an axle, whatever. And then fuel, a lot of that. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But dude, I almost forgot. I was gonna say, like, you were going on about the trailer queens or the car show queens or whatever, right? And no one being out driving them. That is we should almost have somebody on to talk about that because I have a hard time warming up to that idea too.
yeah.
Um, it doesn't compute for me, but I know there are people out there that it does. I'd like to try to understand the psychology of it
Like,
because
and I feel like it's not just about the car, but maybe even like the individual behind it. Like, I feel if I had a car to that caliber, if you will, because like generally the assumption would be is if you have a trailer queen, like you're eating off the thing, like you got it
yeah,
up on blocks, you got mirrors underneath it or whatever the hell. Like, I get it to a certain extent, but if I had that, it would almost be like, okay, send it to the show, but I don't need to be there.
yeah,
So it's almost like the car is its own representation where me personally, it's almost like, the car is a reflection of me and my personality. So like the two go hand in hand. So it's like both need to be there.
yeah,
Um and yeah, it would just be like I think that that's the difference. It's like if you have something whatever, it's almost like a museum piece. It's like you ship it around. sort of like the Titanic exhibit, throw one in Vegas, throw one, in
Yeah.
Pigeon Forge or wherever the hell. And, it's a little bit different where um, pieces like we have, like the owner is just as important. I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that for sure. Um, Speaking of which, actually, somewhat along these lines, brother Tom, who, well, this is, I guess, the Cookie Monster's official second showing, because I think it went to the Chicago
World Wheels
Autorama
or something.
or World Wheels. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was it. Um, but this was kind of his somewhat like first maiden voyage with
Yeah.
it, because they're still dealing with salt on the roads and shit up there. So didn't get a chance to really enjoy it. But man, I seen him that night when we were seeing all the S550 burnouts and stuff. And you get within like 12 feet of that guy and he's just beaming, right? And oh man, it just made you feel so good for him. Even you probably seen it like around the show. Like he just so happy and so excited and so proud of that whole thing. And well, and the car builders were there with him. Streetcar
Yeah.
Shenanigan boys were with him. Um, and they're beaming. Like it was just a real neat experience to see that whole deal, especially considering all the shit he's been through with that car. um yeah, that was probably one of the like top highlights for me, was not only seeing the car, right? Because that's one thing, but like we say all the time, right? It's the cars are just the key in the door. Like beyond, after that, it's the people and the stories and the whatever. Once you get through the door, and yeah, it was pretty cool seeing that. He pulled in, actually, was maybe it was when he was pulling out. I don't know, one of the two anyway. And he got on that two step. Fuck. I mean, and then just the reaction from him, right? Doing that, like just teeth and eyeballs. Man, it was so cool, you
Yeah.
know? And he got to
Oh,
take it up the tail of the dragon too.
oh yeah. He did tell me that.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, he goes, he like, I guess, whatever, the age that we're at now, we've got a better gauge of being like, "Oh, shit, I better smarten myself up here," because he said he got himself into a little bit of a situation where he came in a little hotter than he should have, and, was like, "Oh, right," like, "This is a whole new car, whole new power plant, whole new everything," um, but said, like, just a blast you
Yeah.
know, to run that car up and down there. So glad he got to do all that. And I mean, even when he was leaving, you could still sense that teeth and eyeballs within him. Like he was excited to get that car home and start the new chapter with it. So that was really cool.
Yeah. No, it was, man. Um, there was actually, and I don't know whose car it was. There was a really nice red 93 Cobra that was sort of like, I don't know, behind me and over to. And um like for red, it was, and I don't know, I'm assuming like if it's a real Cobra, then I'm assuming it was just really nice, vibrant red paint that was popping that caught my eye. And of course, comparatively, I'm trying
Are,
to see, you know what I
are you
mean?
warming up to red, buddy? I hear it in your voice.
No, like I was sort of, so I was like scoping out the red competition out there, right? Because like now it's sort of, not that I'm warming up to it, but it's like now I'm a red owner, so I need to like look at all these different pigments and shades of reds to be like, you know, where's the best, what's the
Yeah.
best one, or how can it look when it's really shiny? Like, how can it make me appreciate the red I'm dealing with? I guess is the best way. Like, can I warm up to this a little bit? Like, which one looks good? So, like, I have to say it was really shiny. It had gloss black mirrors on it, which was interesting to see because I was trying to, like, I thought about the same thing, right? Like the whole modern piano black look of some trim and stuff. But anyways, so there's that caught my eye just because I'm in a similar category to that now. And then But I gotta say, my favorite was the Godzilla swap vert with the Jack Daniels nitrous bottle feeding it.
Right. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Man, I like quite honestly, I don't know that I could ultimately pick a favorite out of the Asylum crew. Like there's just so much flavor. And I mean, this is a testament to Tom and John for doing what they do, right? Like that's what makes
Yeah.
these little Asylum meets so special is there's just it really truly is overload of wicked cars.
Yeah, it
Um
really does come down to like the attention to detail, like the little things that you got to own one to know the differences.
yeah.
And one that actually really caught my eye that I was really impressed with was on Saturday, the Sick Motorsports tent was gone. So I
Yep.
think he was just showing on the Friday. And then so Saturday, there was like a burnt orange notch
Yeah.
with I can't remember. I think it might have been it was a mod motor. I forget if it was GT 500 motor in there or not. But the install of that thing, like the way the coolant bottle
Mm.
was installed and like all of like the whatever you want to call it, like the not the accessories, I guess whatever, the supporting accessories and everything, like it was all installed in a way from a swap mod swap um perspective like it should have been factory. And like, yeah, I chatted with him for a while and I was like, man, kudos. Like this actually looks like it would have come this way if,
Right.
it was a newer one. And like, don't get me wrong, there's lots of nice swaps out there, but the reality is sometimes we work with what we've got and, certain circumstances and all that other stuffs. But so that one was impressive in terms of its bay install for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a few coyote swaps in there. All like you say, very tastefully done. Um, I guess, dude, like there's a few people that have said this now, during the weekend and after. I mean that Celine S7.
Mm,
Like this is which, dude, I'm kicking myself. You might have seen it, maybe not though, because I kind of got it tucked in the corner. But I've got like from the old shit, what were those called when we were in school and we all got the posters? They were like the book, not book exchange, but the um
like the book it thing.
no, it was like you could go there and buy books like once or twice a year. And that was where it was, at least me and my buddies, that's where we bought like the Countach poster
Mm,
or the whatever. I've got mine from like buying it in grade school, hung on the wall over by my toolbox of a white Countach. But where I'm going with all this is the Celine S7 was that for me too. Like I remember almost kind of crazy to say, but like almost writing off all those like beautiful Italian imports when that S7 was first introduced. I'm like, oh my God, like the lines of this car. And then the whole 427 twin turbo, like it never ended with that car. And then we were all sitting there in the Asylum area on, I think it was the Friday, and the sound comes through the fucking mountains. We're like, what is that? And everybody turns, and here's this S7 lumping its way along down the street and coming into the show. So, yeah, like total showstopper. I mean, I think even, guys like Tom
eh,
can go like, right, this is a unit. Um, I don't know too many people that haven't said like that was the rig,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no, that was super cool to see.
Yeah. So then I alluded to this earlier, and forgive me, folks. I don't know that anyone, I know we don't at least have the official story on this, but there was a lot of controversy that surrounded this car the Friday night. So the end of show day one, going into show day two, where I think everybody's phone was blowing up that night, going like, the Celine S7's stolen. And most people, I think, jumped to the conclusion that like You mean it was stolen from the show? Like, that's kind of the way it was being presented? And anyway, it wasn't until the next day that, um, some of us started getting the story, and it's still quite gray, but, I guess as far as, like, unofficial facts are concerned, is the car was bought allegedly off of Copart, so it actually got banged up, and the individual that was there showing it off bought it, paid whatever he needed to pay to get it fixed up, and then presented the car, and then there was a claim essentially pardon me, a claim essentially that this car's hot. And now this is where I guess all of the assumptions and or, gray areas start coming into the story. So some of the assumptions are, well, somebody pissed somebody off, and therefore it's like, you know, kind of like I don't want to present these two parties as crooks, but it's kind of like two crooks and the one tattles on the other one, like something to that effect. Um, but anyway, yeah. So, and again, these are kind of the air quote facts, but the Friday night, like it was like a sting operation, apparently. Like 8, 9, 10 cops show up, ready to rock and roll at the convention center. And then things sort of calmed down a bit. The owner was called in, of which, he had as much paperwork as one would have brought with them, like same amount of paperwork you would have had for your silver car, let's say. Like, here's the insurance type thing, right? And nothing to hide, like, yeah, this is what happened. I bought the car, blah, 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 whatever. And then so that was kind of where that all stopped and stayed. And then the following day, when I went in to check the car out, it was during a quick little pee break I went on. There's three sheriffs standing around the car. And so me and Abby went to go have a look at it because this was the first time the two of us were going to get to appreciate it. And everyone was keeping about a 10 or 12-foot circle around the car. And I thought, like, I wonder if we can get any closer, So I asked one of the sheriffs, I said, sir, is it okay if we have a look at the car? Yeah, no, he says, I appreciate you asking. We got a bit of an investigation going here. And, but yeah, by all means, appreciate the car. So yeah, that was kind of where it was left. I don't know where it's gone from there, but, it sounds like the individual that owns it had nothing to hide.
If I
And
had to guess, I'd say that whoever owned it got in a pissing match with insurance. Insurance like wrote the car and it went through Copart. There was some shit that I bet you whoever owned it was trying to get it back and didn't get it back and was like, okay, this is, stolen or whatever. I don't know. That's just because I heard a little bit of this claim that the car was stolen, but I didn't hear anything about this investigation or whatever. And so just
yeah,
by you saying what's going on here, to me, that sort of sounds like what's going on. Or maybe dude screwed himself. Maybe he was trying to do some insurance scam or whatever and get the car back and cards didn't fall the way he wanted them to. And who knows?
well, yeah, and just for the records, ladies and gents, yeah, this is Chris started it. I'll go on with it. This is where the speculation weighs in, right? But like one has to ask themselves the obvious questions here, like who showcases a stolen car, right? Like, come on, what are we doing here, right?
Hey,
Not
some of the
saying,
best people though, man, it's like just do it in broad daylight and just like who would be stupid enough to like showcase a stolen car, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like having the air quote fake diamond on display, but it's the real diamond, right? Like
But
that
the
type of stuff.
reality is Steve was in the building.
Yeah, Steve and his wife were both there at the show.
So it's
Yeah,
sort of like if you need any history or whatever, like I'm sure whoever fixed it would have had to reach out. Like I'm just in my mind, a car of this status would fall underneath like the Ferrari or even one better, the Matt Armstrong slash Alex G Bugatti
yeah,
ordeal. Like, okay, I got a smashed up Bugatti here. I need parts to fix it. Okay. Do you own the car? Can you show proof of ownership of the car before we start selling you parts? Or it's got to come back to Celine or some sort of validation procedure in order to bring this car back to life?
Yeah.
Like, if that's, you know what I mean, then Steve would have been just as guilty. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't know, but I'm just, again, going down the assumption train here, conspiracy train of how this should work. All of the information would have been there and available, and that's probably why the car stayed and nobody left in handcuffs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Going along with your speculation theories, the one that came to mind when I was kind of overhearing some of this was maybe, just maybe, the guy that's making the accusations lost out on the auction,
Mm,
right?
yeah. He
Now,
outbid me. He stole it from me.
right. Yeah, because technically he kind of did, but um I mean, now sure, you can make allegations all you want, but I understand the whatever, like, basics of the legal system. I mean, sure, you can make accusations and it's up to the other party to prove them as non-allegations, but the person that's been accused also gets to, go back on the accuser. And
Yeah.
that's where one person pays the other's legal fees and it gets real ugly. So you gotta, I mean, I'd like to think that the accuser has some sort of grounds to stand on, or he's just that crazy. I don't know.
You know what? As soon as you brought up this, potential outbid or whatever thing, there is an element to that that I could see where if there was a reserve on the car, which is highly possible, you can bid the car up on Copart and you can become the highest bidder without the reserve being met.
Hmm.
So let's say he was the highest bidder, reserve doesn't get met, auction closes. Then at that point, the guy who ended up with the car finds out who the seller is, whether it's the insurance company. And technically speaking, this is where the technicality or the formality would come in to say, okay, what is the legal process in terms of Copart's involvement, the seller, and potential buyers to say, okay, did the highest bidder have the grounds as first right of refusal based on
Right.
the scenario, or did this other guy come out of no? Because I'll tell you firsthand, I've won stuff through Copart in this exact scenario. Reserve was not met. Got in touch with a contact at Copart, managed to get in touch and did the deal. And so in my mind, this is where it's kind of
Mm.
floating to, okay, well, did the high bidder in this case, because we're talking about such a rare and exotic piece, catches wind, oh, okay, well, they made a deal and starts, sort of putting the blame to say, yeah, no, wait, like this was my offer. Why wasn't this accepted? And maybe the other guy managed to do a direct deal, no Copart fees, one of these weird scenarios, and is kind of going after, everybody involved. So, and at that point, it's not about the owner, right? He could be claiming and maybe suing Copart or
Yeah.
whoever he thinks is maybe, or the insurance company that did this deal where it didn't follow the official channels of the possible transaction.
Hmm. Yeah. Where there's smoke, there's fire, bud. You might be
Yep.
onto something there, right? Yeah, interesting nonetheless. Like you say, especially over such a rare piece.
Do we know what it's sold for?
I don't
It'd
know.
be interesting to find, maybe do a little digging on that.
Yeah, I did learn a little bit of the history. Now, I don't know if the person that told me this would want to quote it or what, but I don't know. I don't think this is any secret. Um, allegedly, there was 30 of these things made. For all intents and purposes, very, very impressive piece of machinery. Um, yeah, there was something else too. I want to say it was to do with colors, which is usually that tracks with Celine, right? There's only so many of these and only so many of those. And there was something else too about maybe of those 30, 2 were the showpiece ones. Maybe this was one of them. I don't know. There was something along the lines of that.
So, do you know on Facebook, because you always get weird shit in your feed and whatever, there was an individual who posted up that the S7 was a dream car of his and he'd finally got his hands on one and he was sort of bragging that he was like driving it daily, like almost a BJ Adams style personality. Never followed the guy, but like it just kind of seemed like this fucking shit just kept dripping in my feed. Um, I wonder if this is the guy in the car because if it is, I could see again. It's sort of like if BJ had something, there'd be some friggin' mad hater out there that would pull a stunt like this.
Right.
Which
I never
sorry,
saw
BJ, if
anything
I'm
on that.
throwing you under the bus, but like BJ sort of thrives on that attention anyways. I'm sure he's just laughing at me right now. But
He
um
loves it, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, he'll just say, "Oh, fuck the poors."
I don't know. I never saw anything on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to like dig that up because I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it's not like you said, there's only 30 of them. So there's like 1 in 30 chance that this is the same car and the dude, and maybe that's why he's posting so much because maybe it was just like the whole buy it, fix it, get it back on the road, enjoy it type deal. But
And ruffling feathers in the meantime, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, maybe. I don't know how, because I've since had a video sent to me. Somebody followed that S7 in through the gates and listening to that thing lump itself along from the vehicle behind its perspective. Holy fuck, I don't know how you daily drive that thing. Like, yeah, it's like one of those like Australian, 3-blower big block fucking burnout machines. Like it's just boom, boom, boom. Like it's a machine.
Right.
And definitely not something that you could just whatever cruise around and get stuck in traffic with. Like that's one of those, starts to come alive at 6,000 RPM type cars.
Yeah.
Very impressive to appreciate though. That's one that I would damn near give a leg to like see it on a hoist and like really go through it. Pretty
Yeah.
impressive car. I think it too was like when it came out, I want to say they might have all come out in and around that same like 0405 era, which funny enough, that was when the second rendition of the GT40 came out, right?
Yeah.
0405, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the S7, in that era was whatever, like up there somewhere towards the top, if not on the top, for like fastest car. Um, and there's that other outfit like Hennessy. I think we were talking about this, were we not? And I couldn't think of the name of the outfit. They're out of Texas there.
Yep.
Because they made their rig, right? That Hennessy Venom or something they called it. And then there was that guy, the Shelby SSC or something. And I think, because there's Shelby America, which is Carol. And then this other guy who I can't remember the story now if his last name was Shelby or how Shelby got factored into it. But anyway, it's a whole different Shelby. And they went out to Nevada or whatever and took that title with some outrageous speed. Anyway, I'm going to get out over my ski tips. Somebody's going to start yelling at me here because I'm probably talking out of my ass. But I want to say the S7 had some sort of a claim like that.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I hope it would. Like, look at
Yeah.
the thing.
Oh, fucking things going fast standing still, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. But I think that kind of sums her all up anyway. Hey, all in all, good trip. P.I.T.S, for anyone that's wondering if they should get out to that show, you should. Like, just It's great time of year. Like Chris said, we did have Saturday, which was cold. Funny enough, though, there was not a cloud in the sky.
Oh,
So ambient air temp was like what, 55 at most, maybe. But like I sunburnt my neck that day,
yeah.
like
Well,
it
you'd
was a
never know because of that wind chill smacking you on your neck.
yeah, it was a really weird day for weather. But that and yeah, the morning of, I know my buddy Nick, who was the caretaker of the Vert and the 79 for me here in Tennessee for a few months, he sent me a picture of ice on his convertible roof.
Oh,
So yeah, depending on where you were in that valley, I mean, it got quite cold overnight.
yeah.
But and rain night before too, right? We had to deal with that the Saturday morning, pollen and water
Yeah, the
spots and all
pollen
that fun
was
stuff.
unreal.
Yeah, the pollen really came alive on Saturday.
Well, I never saw it last year because I had a yellow car.
Ah, right. That's true.
Just blended right in.
Yep. Um, but yeah, it's a great show, great organizers. For as many cars as that there are that go to it, very well organized. You know, that Friday when we all showed up, granted, we were all getting in there as, whatever you want to call us, I guess, show cars. So coming in at like 7 before the public gets in there. It wasn't like it was a, you know, backed up 300 car disaster to get in or anything.
No.
It's pretty smooth getting in there.
Yep.
So, yeah, good show. Yeah. Oh, and I guess great way to maybe sum this all up. Chris decides he's going to head from Pigeon Forge all the way back to Texas in one night.
Oh, well, I thought I had all intentions of breaking the trip up, and I'm like, you just sort of like give yourself those milestones. Like, you know what? Like, definitely need to get out of Tennessee. If I can make it to like Little Rock, which is probably about the halfway mark, better yet, Texarkana, then I'll be good. So, like, we made it to Little Rock for dinner, and I took the missus to the same spot I had found the Sunday I had left, because there was trailer parking. I knew the restaurant. It was very like crunchy, as we would say. So up my wife's alley, like she's gonna love it. And grab dinner. It's like, okay, well, whatever. It's before 9 o'clock. Texarkana's 2 more hours down the road. Like, why not? Type deal. So get on the road, and she starts dozing off a little bit. And like, dude, I want to say like when the sun goes down is like the worst. Like that, like it's not even just driving, it's just like that point in
Yeah.
the day, it's like I could have a nap. So like I wasn't doing the best. Like it was just perfect timing to grab dinner. And then so of course we get back on the road and it's dark. And here's the one thing, you're pulling a trailer, and for all the reasons you mentioned before, you're like, man, if you get a flat, some fucking shit happens, it's not good. But then on the flip side, like, dude, you hit 10 o'clock and then it's like you start seeing like there's no traffic anymore. There's no in and out of lanes, or it's whatever, super easy passing. And I'm like, okay, I got just enough fuel to get to Texarkana. And it's like a shit show of construction. And it wasn't like bad. It was just the highway was ended up being divided. So it was sort of like you end up on this express that doesn't give you access to the exits. And I just sort of wasn't paying attention. It's like, well, I guess I'm not stopping officially in Texarkana,
Yeah.
or like 10:30, 11. I don't know what fucking hour it was. Pull in and I'm like, this is sort of like when my brain switches on and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, fuck it, let's go for Dallas.
Send it.
2 more hours, and then it's like you get to Dallas and you're like, well, shit, it's like 2.5 more hours home. Like I'm
Yeah.
looking, of course, it's right, arrival time 3:30 in the morning, and you're like staring at the, it's almost like you keep looking over at the clock and only like a minute or two goes by. So you're like literally watching the hours go by. But I think on your way home, because you get familiar with the scenery and you know what the milestones are, and they're a lot less spread out than they are going in the other direction, because the other direction's literally like, yeah, you got Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville,
Yeah.
right? They're pretty big gaps in between them. So yeah, no, man, rolled right in like 3:20 something in the morning. I sent a text message to WhatsApp to Lewis because he was wondering. So obviously, because I would have been unresponsive all this morning. I slept until noon.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, my fucking co-pilot, man, she's like, oh, I did a pretty good job at staying awake. I'm like,
For the
pardon?
first half. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's like, oh yeah, no, right up until like, uh, Little Rock, I did good. I'm like, yeah, it was dinner. I'm like, there were still like 6, 7 hours after that. So I think she got up a normal hour, got on with her day and all that. It was fine though. It's not, um, I mean, I did all right.
Yeah. Well, when you the other thing I find too, when you get in that mode, because yeah, mentally, okay, now you've gone past the point of tired, you're kind of wide awake, and then you're getting fuel. And you get out, it's a little chilly out. You kind of get a second, third,
Yeah.
fourth, fifth wind. And yeah, you start doing the math towards like, do I really want to spend the night when I'm 2 hours away from home? Probably not. Just get in, hammer down.
Yeah. And then like you're thinking, like to me, it's like you get up and it's the traffic, and that's why I left when I left going. It's like, I just want to get on the other fucking side of Dallas. I don't care
Yeah.
where it is, but I want nothing to do with Dallas during working business hours.
Yeah.
So like same thing here. It's like, man, the closer I got, it's like now you got to sleep in on purpose, leave late, and then it's going to burn up all of Monday,
Yeah.
as a result of whatever. At least I got to wake up in my own bed. Yeah, I slept in a little bit, but I was here and, managed to be semi-productive. So, yeah, no, it all worked out, man.
Yeah.
Thankfully, no issues with towing or anything like that. And that's that. She's a wrap.
That's good, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like why screw up 2 days? Like you just start justifying things to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Why screw up 2 days when I can just really screw one up? Because you know when you're gonna get once you get home, you're gonna the following day. Now I gotta unload the trailer. Now I gotta unload the truck. Now I got this. Now that. You're like, well, fuck. Now I just screwed up 2 days, and I ate a hotel room the night before too, right? So, yeah, I'm with you. Power through and get her done. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice, dude. Well, ladies and gents, we've made this promise to you before. We'll try and make it again. This one was a little better than the last couple. We were short, not the extra long ones, which I actually got a lot of good compliments on, bud. People saying like I got about a half-hour commute, and when you guys do a 3-hour pull, like it takes me right into my Friday on the
Yeah.
way home. I usually finish them off. So, anyway, between Chris being up till 3:30 this morning, me being under the weather, and everything else we got going on, trying to settle into these new realities, I think that's probably a good place to leave her. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
try and get back to regular programming here.
yeah, in the very near future, hopefully next week.
There we
Bar-
go. Well, thanks,
bar none.
guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening, folks. We'll hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.